practices are very unique because you're in a team meeting at 6:30. Then you go to special teams meetings. Then you go to position meetings. You're out here by 8 and off the field by 10:15, and they've got 11 to 12 o'clock class. So the rest of the day is basically their day. Now they have study hall. They have obviously afternoon classes. They have some weight work they do, but unlike in the past, they're off at night. So it really, I think, is something that's working right now for our players and our staff. Even our coaches can go home at night because they'll go from the 10:15 into practice immediately to watch the video. We have our staff meeting at 3 in the afternoon to plan in the morning's practice, and then we work till 5 or 6, and then home for dinner with their families. So it's a very unique setup. I thought yesterday's practice was okay. I thought today's practice was really good. They were intense. They got after each other, and they had the attitude today that we need on Saturday.
When are players coming back in to do training, and they lift? What's kind of schedule with them coming back?
They all have different schedules because of their classes. So Brian Hess has done a tremendous job of figuring out what's best for them. I told him I didn't want any lifting at night, and I didn't want any study halls at night. One of the problems we've always had is guys work so hard during the day, then they have their study hall from 8 to 10 at night, and they're exhausted. So we want the study hall, and the academic people want the study hall in the afternoon. So now obviously the academic people are here. If they want extra help at night to study, they can get that. But we don't want them to be forced to do that.
Mack, with this being a conference game Saturday, does your message change at all to the team?
Only the goals at the end. This is the first game in the Coastal. Obviously, to win the Coastal, you don't need to lose any games in the Coastal. So, yes, our first priority was to win the first game. We were able to do that. That's our first goal. Secondly, it's to beat all the in-state teams. That doesn't affect this week. Thirdly, it's to win the Coastal. That affects this week. So they know that's in their list of goals.
You said that when you win, you can coach harder. They're kind of more receptive. Have they been that way the last couple of days?
Yeah, we got all over them yesterday because I thought it was okay. And you should be so excited about this weekend's game. Every week that you play, that you come out and you practice like it's game speed. And yesterday, some did and some didn't. I thought our big guys on offense, obviously, they were the worst to me of the group. They just didn't come out. I thought they'd have so much confidence after Saturday, and I didn't see that yesterday. Today I did. They all came out and did a good job.
How much of this is learning how to have confidence and to sustain success?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest wins they've had in the last couple of years. So you got to learn how to win. Obviously losing is losing. It's different. You got to pick them up after a loss, but after a win, you can coach them hard. We're coaching them really hard. We've changed a lot of personnel on special teams because we were so thin with our suspensions and our injuries last week. And some guys didn't play very well, and that was their opportunity. So we're going to put some more different guys, older guys, more experienced guys there. It'll be cooler on Saturday night than it was last weekend. So you also can put the Dominic Rosses, the Miles Dorns, and Miles Wolfett. You can put those guys on special teams now more than you could last week, and especially a Surratt and a Gimmel because you had no linebackers. So we feel like that special teams will be a whole lot better this week, and they need to be because Miami's so fast.
Are those the major changes, kind of putting some juniors and seniors and special teams that weren't there?
Yes.
Saturday?
Yes. Just to get more experience on the field because you'd like for your younger guys to be able to help with it.
Yeah.
But this special teams this weekend will be as good as any we see all year. So it's really important that we pick it up.
That's when special teams is one of them. What are some of the other biggest things you think it would take for you all to win?
Penalties. We had 10 penalties Saturday, and you just can't have 10 penalties. I can't remember a team that we've coached that had 10 penalties. I think South Carolina had 9, so they helped us. But we've got to play a cleaner game just from the standpoint of penalties. And we turned a couple in that you always look at that we thought maybe we're on the edge, but still, if they're called, they're penalties. So we can't give up the number of yards and field position in the kicking game that we did and win Saturday, and we can't have 10 penalties and win.
Those preseason meetings where guys kind of told their stories, what did that do for you and what did they do for the team?
I really feel like in the preseason meetings where everybody told their life story, it let us all understand each other better at a faster pace, because you can imagine you're coming in, and so many times when the new coach comes in, they say, well, it takes 2 or 3 years to get everybody to know each other. Well, we don't have 2 or 3 years anymore. It's not fair to the seniors. So we felt like that the only way for us to know each other is for guys to get up and say who they are, what happened in their life, and who are the people in their lives that changed their lives and respect their lives. And I'm telling you now, there's some wonderful stories, heartbreaking stories, but these kids are incredible kids. Some of them to overcome what they've overcome, and for them to stand up there and say those things to us, it just made us as coaches want to get up there and say things that we wouldn't have told them about us either. So I really felt like that it's made a huge difference for us in communication and trust and respect. Because now, after seeing what you've gone through, I said, oh my gosh, I'm going to coach him differently. I need to pick him up. I need to help him because he's been beaten down.
Mack, you're coaching against a former assistant coach of yours. Do you currently have a relationship with Manny, and what do you think about what he's done in Miami?
Yes, I helped Manny with Coach Rick when he called for the job. I did a couple of their ball games. So I sat down with Manny and I talked to him, and of course I see him all the time and love his wife, and he got 3 great children, 3 young boys. He is perfect for Miami. I mean, he grew up there. He loves Miami. His dad was the mayor. He was there when Miami was the Miami that we all know, and he'll want to get them back to that. So he knows all the high school coaches there because he coached at Florida State and even recruited Miami when he was at NC State with Chuck Amata. So I don't think there can be a better choice to replace Mark Rick than Manny Diaz. I think he'll be a huge hit there in time.
I'm sorry, things did not end the way you would have wanted them to at Texas with Manny. Did that damage your relationship with him for a time? Or?
It didn't, because it wasn't about him. We weren't as good, and I had 3 older coaches in there, and things weren't working. So I could have fired all of them. Very honestly, we weren't playing good defense. So it wasn't him, it was just the timing. And he understood that. Manny's a professional, and he's really good. We've moved way beyond that.
Did you say the other day that you have a place in the Bahamas, or you had a place?
We sold it in early July, and I hate so much. It was Marsh Harbor and Baker's Bay, and it's right there where it's a mess. And there's so many great Bahamian friends that are down there, and Sally and I just pray for them every night that they're all safe and okay, because the communication's not good. We've tried to get to some of our friends, and it's just hard right now to get any information. So thoughts and prayers. Those things are tough.
What do you expect with the atmosphere on Saturday, and what are you excited about with the 8 p.m. kick and then the new changes to Keene Stadium? And obviously, coming off a big win, should be.
Yes. Number one, we want everybody in the seats 30 minutes before the game, and I think that's key because our kids will feel that energy, and Miami will feel that energy, and every ticket's gone, so that's fun. The students got 7,000 tickets. There's a waiting list. High school coaches, there's a waiting list, so that's fun. That's the way it should be. Secondly, every feeling that I get, so there's a lot of energy, and people are pumped about the game, and they know that when there's been big games here that they can make a difference, and we're planning on doing that. And Bubba and Clint Waltney and Rick Steinbacher and their groups have worked really, really hard to make the experience better. I want to get it so it's a sellout and people come to see us and enjoy the experience regardless of who we're playing. That's what we want to get it to. It shouldn't have to be a Miami to fill it up. I want it full all the time, and it's full because of us.
What are your thoughts on the alcohol sales in Keene Stadium? This is new. First year, do you have an opinion on that or a take on it?
My opinion is that I leave that to Kevin, to Bubba, and the Board of Trustees, the Board of Governors, and I stay out of it. All I want is the best experience for our fans that we can have on that day.
With the storm coming in, I'm sure you got guys that are from the eastern half of the state, and there's always kind of a worry about what's going on back home, especially as things come. Have you talked to them about that, the group, about
We have, and I think a lot of the parents will probably leave, evacuate, and come over for the game and stay here for the weekend. And it sounds like the Friday we're going to get a bunch of rain, and then Saturday at game time is supposed to be 72 degrees, so it should be perfect. The turf will not be wet.
Might you shed a tear your first game back at Keenan?
No, I cry after we win. I don't know. I really don't think so. It was pretty surreal when Sally and I came back last August and walked across the field. There were a lot of thoughts and memories, and I didn't remember the early games. I remembered the late ones, so that was a lot better. But I just, this is not about me. It's about these kids winning, and it's about this gives them a chance to take another huge step against a really talented team. I think Miami will be as talented as anybody we play other than Clemson. And in some ways, some positions, they're as talented as Clemson. So this is a real test for us at home to see if we have a real chance here, or to see if we're still growing.
When you talked about there being too many penalties against South Carolina last week, how do you approach that in practice and try to cut
Oh my
those
gosh,
out?
every day we've had ACC officials here. Every day we call out the penalties during practice to try to make them aware that you can't do that. Every day we talk about it in the staff meeting. We have the list. I mean, it's we are doing everything we can do, and I ask the coaches, come on, man, that's your job. Why do we have a receiver in motion? I mean, it makes no sense to me. We have no snap count, so move when the ball moves. And I think some of them were just anxious the first game, and there was a hands to the face, and there were two of them, and one of them was really hands to the face. The other one we've got them looking at. So
After 2 days of practice, do you have a better idea of how you're going to use Cameron Kelly on Saturday? I know you said safety, and then Bateman said all three positions in the secondary.
He's trying to work him in all three. He'll obviously have an impact on special teams, but he and Don Chapman are both playing safety and corner, and they're moving them around. We just don't have enough guys back there right now to lock anybody in for just one position. And when Trey got hurt and Patrice was already out, well, that put us in a real bind. And I'll give Greg Ross a lot of credit. He went to the opposite. We had Trey Morrison covering Edwards all over the field. Greg had to go do that. And Greg was a guy who got picked on some last year. And he played really well on Saturday. So credit to he and Surratt and Gemmel and those guys who've never been out there in those positions. And credit that they didn't panic. I thought that was good. They showed confidence. When somebody got hurt, they just moved on. And that's what you got to do.
And Dominic Ross coming back in, how's that kind of change what you're doing at linebacker, and how you're going to use him with Chaz and Gemmel?
We're really working at it because Dominic's such a great pass rusher too. He's one of our best. So we're looking at different packages. Jay does a really good job of getting the best guys on the field at the right time to get the pressure that we need. So they're working really hard with those guys, and hopefully Surratt and Gemmel, without any experience, will just get better and better.
What do you see out of Miami's linebacker corps?
Probably the best in the country. It and Clemson's, again, are the best in the country. It's so unique. Manny and Coach Rick recruited those two guys, and I called their games, so I watched them. And I said they're maybe the best combination of linebackers in the country, and they are. And their spirit, they make plays all over the field. They're tough, they're smart, and very uniquely, both of them could have left and gone to the draft last year, and both of them decided to stay. So they are the kingpins of that team, I think, but specifically that defense.
When you walked across the field with Sally last August, did you ever imagine that this would be possible again?
No. Number one, I didn't want it to be possible because I wanted Larry to be here and Christie. And number two, he had a long-term contract, so I didn't think about it. Number three, Sally told me I couldn't coach anywhere but here. So I'd pretty much figured I was through. And then when I got the call, it just, it seemed like it was something that was meant to be. So I thought I'd come in here and help. And Larry and I have been great. I call him and talk to him about the players and who's doing well, who's struggling, and he and Christie wanted somebody to treat their kids right. So I think that this has probably been the smoothest transition for friends and coaching there's ever been.
Did you guys talk after Saturday at all?
No, they're getting ready for LSU, and we're getting ready for Miami. So I was thinking about him though this morning that I should follow up and tell him a lot of his guys played great Saturday.
So you have talked to him since you've been back in the preseason and up to
Yes.
now?
Yeah, I talk to him probably once a month, or we text. Mostly coaches text back and forth this time of year. So What else? Anything else? All right. Okay, thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Coach. Thanks.